G'day guys, James here. In the last video I covered the main parties involved in the enforcement of the CFA Institute Codes and Standards. Those were the Professional Conduct Program, the police officers of the Institute, and the Disciplinary Review Committee, the judges of the CFA Institute. In this video I'll be covering the actual process of enforcement step by step. And in the next video I'll be concluding by covering the sanctions that can be imposed if you are found to have breached your ethical obligations. The first thing that happens is that the PCP becomes aware of questionable conduct. So I'm just going to put that down here, call it awareness, and this is step 1. Okay. There are a number of ways that this can happen, depending on whether you're a member or a candidate. For the purposes of video, a member is someone who is a charter holder and who can use the letter CFA after their name. A candidate, on the other hand, is someone who's studying for the CFA exams. We'll go into more detail about the definitions of member and candidate later on, but in this video let us just keep it simple. If you're a member, you have to submit what is called an annual professional conduct statement to the Institute. Those statements basically have to disclose any matters that put a question mark on your professional conduct. For example, if you're getting sued, or you're getting charged with a criminal offence, or someone's threatening to bar you from practicing investment, all these allegations, all these proceedings have to go on your professional conduct statement. So let me just write this down for you right now. So get your professional conduct statement. No, I'm not writing the formula for carbon monoxide. Professional conduct with C and little o. Okay, if you're a candidate, the main thing that people get into trouble with, or the main thing that candidates get into trouble with, relates to the actual CFA exams. In particular, when exam proctors think you have cheated. So let's just write that down. Okay, exam misconduct. Okay. From my personal experience, the proctors are strict to the point of paranoia about exams. There are huge numbers of security measures that the Institute puts on the exams, which I'll not mention because I'm not allowed to. I've also read that they can fail you and ban you from participating in the program for things like spending 1 second extra on the exam after they tell you to put your pens down. If you don't believe it, there's actually an article on the CFA website which actually tells you about this particular practice. Now, also, whether you're a member or candidate, the PCP can become aware of your alleged professional misconduct directly or indirectly from various sources. Now, let me just write this down here. So, direct awareness, complaints, and let me just move this box around so it lines up nicely. Let's go to the next box, and indirect awareness, publicity. Good, I've spelt it correctly. Okay, so they can become aware directly through complaints made about you by various parties, whether it's your colleagues or your clients, or whether it's a member of the public. They can also become aware indirectly by reading negative press or other public sources which talk about you. So they can become aware even if no one actually complains directly to them. Hence, I use the word indirect. Now, once they've become aware, the logical step is for them to investigate. So let's put that down here. Investigation. Okay. That is what I would call step 2. Okay. Investigation. When the PCP find out about any alleged dodgy behavior, they can open an investigation. It is your responsibility to cooperate with them. So let me just write that down. You must cooperate. You must cooperate. Right. Okay. Now, if you don't cooperate, the PCP can whack you with a summary suspension, which means that you are stripped of your membership and the use of your CFA designation or the right to participate in the CFA program if you're a candidate. So you better cooperate, otherwise they can really stuff you up. At the end of the investigation, the PCP can choose to either close it if it doesn't think that you've violated the code or standards. If that happens, great, breathe a sigh of relief. Otherwise, the PCP will present the findings and recommendations to the designated officer. And let's just recap this. Designated officer, they are basically the police chief of the PCP. And they have staff working under them who conduct the investigation and present their findings and recommendations based on the investigation to the designated officer. After the staff present their findings, the designated officer will review the findings and they will provide you with a written determination of what kind of ethical breaches you've done, if they think there has been an ethical breach, and also what disciplinary sanction that the Institute proposes to unleash on you. If you accept that determination, the sanction will be slammed on you and the matter will be over. Otherwise, if you don't accept that sanction, or if you get summarily suspended and you don't accept the suspension, the dispute will be referred to a hearing panel composed of members of the DRC. So, I'm just going to note that down. 3. Okay. Hearing. Okay. Now, the hearing panel then reviews all the evidence and all the arguments made by both you and the designated officer, or the PCP. Now, in this particular situation, I strongly recommend that you get a great lawyer. Otherwise, you're going to be at a real disadvantage. When that's done, the DRC, or the hearing panel, will determine whether an ethical breach has occurred. If so, they will then determine what sanction will be imposed upon you. So let me just write this down. Okay, sanctions. Okay. And as I said in my last video, this is basically them bringing down the hammer on you. Now, the next video I will talk about sanctions, but what I will say as a preview is that sanctions can vary in seriousness depending on the seriousness of the actual ethical breach that you've engaged in. And sanctions can range from wrist slaps to suspensions and expulsions, but that I will leave to a different time. Alright, thank you for listening, and tune in for my next video. Cheers. Bye.